Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of HR to CHRO podcast. And today we have Mr. Sudhir Aggarwal with us, who has had a long and distinguished career. And he has had experienced so many different divisions in his long career. And he's an inspiration because at the age of 58, he pivoted from whatever he was doing and got into consulting. And then later on, he pivoted again and became a faculty. So thank you, Sudhir. Thanks for giving us time. Welcome.
Thank you, Amit, and I must express my sincere thanks to Kushalta to make me part of you. It is such a privilege, and I feel so honored to be part of your series. And somewhere also it adds to my purpose of the life that give your 2 cents back to the community.
Thank you, sir.
Why? Because Amit, all of us when we are born, we all of us born crying, and then whatever we get, whatever we become, whatever we are, we are a product of ecosystem. It is the society who made us what we are
Correct.
today, whatever we are.
Correct.
So at some point in time, I think it becomes very, very critical and crucial that in whatever the way we can give our 2 cents back to the society who made us what we are. I think we must do that. And in that spirit, I found Kushalta actually doing a fabulous job. Fabulous job. Why? I'll tell you, Amit, to start with. Because, Amit, if you really look at it, today's generation is not like our generation.
Correct.
In during our times, we had fewer options. We never had so much exposure, not so many job opportunities, not so many roles, responsibilities. The world was very simple, couple of options. Today, the kind of world we are living in so disruptive.
Correct.
And in the disruptive world, things are transforming overnight.
Correct.
The if transformation in good old days used to take years, now it is in weeks, months, and maybe just couple of years.
Correct.
So in that time, our future leaders, if we can share our background, our stories with our future leaders, I think that is an opportunity, and I sincerely again thank you and Kushalta to give me this platform. Thank you very much.
So nice of you. So nice of you, sir. Thank you. So, see, I'll start the discussion that how you started your career as a developer, then as a pre-sales, implementer, pre-sales, resource manager, software management, and then sales and government business. And then you pivoted into consulting, and then you became a faculty, and then you full-fledgedly moved into HR. You became a CHRO. So first, but before I start the career journey, I want to ask you one thing. What is the secret of your energy, sir? At the say,
Wow.
people want to relax and not take too much tension. You have been pivoting from one role into another. So what is that secret of your energy? Please share that first.
So, Amit, I must thank you and I love your question. I'll tell you why. Because right in the beginning, you are allowing me to, express what I somewhere wanted to say during the day. See, the mantra somehow over years it has been in a natural form that I have never allowed myself to be in a comfort zone.
Very nice.
Even if I have performed a role for, let's say, 6 years, I have not performed in one location. I have performed in more than one location. What does it mean? Every time you change the location, even if you are doing the same role, is a new client, new environment, new colleagues, new ecosystem. So again, you expose yourself. So one of the mantras of my life, which keeps me, I think, naturally motivated, that I don't allow myself to be in a comfort zone, keep challenging myself, and really look for opportunities to learn. Because every time you take up a new role, Amit, as you just took me through my own journey, they are varied roles,
Correct.
and change people fear.
Correct.
But when I decide for myself that I don't want to be in a comfort zone, I think that is what keep kicking me. And I must thank you. I must thank you, Amit, the whole ecosystem that I've got over years. especially sales organization of HCL.
Mhm.
I always feel very privileged to work with the sales leaders of HCL who helped me shape my career. After 17 years, when I moved out of HCL, then IBM, Oracle, Thomson Reuters, Microsoft, Deloitte, all these companies came natural to me with no arrogance, very humbly. So I think, as you said, energy level, it is when you don't go in a comfort zone. You keep challenging yourself. You keep aspiring yourself to, look for dil mange more.
Correct.
That is what I think keep kicking you, because you will agree, Amit, like, if you keep doing the same role for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, over time you keep becoming more efficient, sometimes more inefficiently efficient. But then, you keep going like this.
Correct.
But if you can choose to have your career like with the horizontal interventions,
Mhm.
and I must thank the whole ecosystem who allowed me to grab those opportunities. So I think that keep me motivated, that keep me kicking in, that keep me shaping myself. And over time, I have realized, Amit, the adoption of any new role, I think is very simple. It
Okay.
is so long we don't, come out of our comfort zone and we want to be in the comfort zone. Every role looks like a challenge. But some people grow revolutionary, but I think my growth has been evolutionary. I have disrupted my career options, but more in evolutionary manner rather than in revolutionary manner. I have taken risk, but not maybe blatant risks. That's how I would like to explain.
See, that's so inspiring, Sudhir. See, but the question which comes to mind is generally when you talk to people, people say that the pivots that you decide to take, it should be earlier in your career because as you grow older, especially after the mid level, it becomes that much more challenging to pivot your career to go into different roles because one there is performance pressure which is higher than when at the starting level or at the junior level, and then the time required to learn may not be there for you, because you are supposed to hit the ground running. So how did you handle those challenges? And if you could share some personal examples where you made a pivot, you joined a new changed a new direction, and then what were the challenges that you faced during your, there would be so many examples, I'm sure, but if you could share a few of them, then how did you come out of that?
Great, Amit. Again, you are giving me another platform to, present some of my favorites of my life. So let me go back to early mid part of 90s when it was a body shopping era. So, the body shopping was at peak. Now
Correct.
I was with the HCL. Now we had to hire people, like buying laptops.
Correct.
And the top leadership of HCL decided that if you leave it to HR, you can only do your 2%, 5% numbers, not even 5% possible. Because HR will typically follow their process for hiring. So leadership decided that let's pick up some of the project managers who have a little, attitude and aptitude towards being disruptive in nature, and make them call them resource managers. And the role was headhunting and be integral part of body shop. I'm very, very humbly and very proud to say, Amit, I still remember when the job profile of resource manager was getting written on the whiteboard. My manager was looking at me and writing some traits, and then during lunch break, that was the time because of my family reason I had to rush to Delhi. And again, like a mad guy, I asked my boss, Yuvraj Bahadur, I said, YB, mera transfer. Then me and YB used to share fatherly relationship. So he said, this profile, didn't you see? कि तेरी शक्ल देख के तो हमने प्रोफाइल देखी है. So I became a resource manager. Now the interesting thing comes, what you're asking me. All my peers discouraged me to take up the role of resource manager.
Correct.
They always looked at resource manager role very downward. They said, oh, now you will do resource, you will call up people, US, okay, you will go to UK, you will go to Singapore, this is what you will do. They almost told me that it's a very trivial and useless job which I'm being offered and I'm getting it. But the pivot was one, I just trusted if my leadership has thought of this role and I have been selected, not that I have applied for this role, I have been selected for this role, then I think there is something in it. So I just trusted my leadership. We did our annual targets in 6 months.
Very nice.
Now, 3 things happened to me, Amit, as a part of this. And that is the real pivot in my career. One, before this, I was a part of delivery organization, so I never had the number understanding.
Okay.
So now, first time in my life, I got exposed to numbers. 2, week on week basis, now in front of my leadership, the top leadership of the company, at least once my name used to be called. How much numbers this guy has done, Sudhir has done against his target. And third, I think this was a transformation of a major step in my career, moved from delivery to numbers business. And after that, there is no look back. Now, if you really look at this, I think the main purpose, the main background was my trust in my leadership, that if they have thought if this role has to be done by non-HR person, I just trusted my leadership. And that is what the messaging also, very strongly for anybody and everybody all throughout the life, trust your leaders. And after that, no U-turn. If you look at my career, then I've always been, on move. And coming to the latter part of your question, that, even at 58, 59, 60, 62, I have made changes. The key reason, I think, out of more than 4 decades, I think almost 25 years of my career, I have been an individual contributor. I am not so much of manager. I have always preferred to be an individual contributor, even when I created the government business for SIFI technologies from minus, not even zero. During my tenure with the SIFI, I remained individual contributor, though we created sales organization for government, pre-sales organization for government, delivery organization for government. I remained individual contributor. So why I'm saying IC is very important, Amit, because then that means every time I've been working rather than managing. Because most managers, if you see, when they become manager, they kind of become hands off from the market perspective.
Correct.
Because now they have started managing people.
Correct.
Now my role always has been, and in all my, very humbly I'm just saying, I think being an individual contributor role, I think I've created my own little value proposition where I've been able to create a pull factor. When my ecosystem, and I'm saying all this very humbly with no arrogance, has always looked at that I'm able to add 2 cents in their dollar. So I'm able to create that pull factor. So that means being in individual contributor role, most time I have been decently hands-on person. So when you are a hands-on person, then taking a shift, and now 60, that to, at almost 58, 59, teaching AI, generative AI, emerging technologies to the government officials. Because of being hands-on individual contributor, I think that has been the main reason, because continuously, knowingly, unknowingly, I have been throwing myself, in the new world and dirtied my hands. Maybe horizontally, not so much vertically, not so much in depth. But when I was teaching, then I also have to go in a little bit depth, but not too much of depth. So I think being an individual contributor has been one of the key factors in my life that I have been able to. And the overriding factor always is that I have never allowed myself, by design or incidentally, not allowed myself to be in a comfort zone. I insist a lot.
Very nice.
That I have never allowed myself to be in a comfort zone.
Very nice. CC, when you shifted from HCL, I mean, you shifted into resource management, and then in IBM you went into a different role, I guess, from HCL. Then in Oracle, then in SIFI, you started handling government business for the first time, and then again you pivoted. So did you used to plan it that I have had this experience, now I want to challenge myself by taking experience of this challenge? Is that how you used to work, or it was it happened the way it happened and you just went with the flow?
It happened to me. Every time it happened to me. But whenever it happened to me, something came my way.
Right.
I have always taken very little time to evaluate my options. I don't think I have dragged myself over weeks and months to decide. I think most time I take decisions, by my gut, and I jump into this. So it is more, by as things came my way, I loved and I just adopted them.
So see, I want to ask you that when you were shifted into as a managing person, resource manager in HCL, you said you trusted in your leadership. So the question which I have in mind is that you must have impressed your leadership that they also trusted you to handle this new role where the reporting was to the senior stakeholders. So, but before that, before I ask, see, did it ever happen when you made so many shifts? I want to ask this first before I go into the leadership trust. That did it ever happen that when you made this shift from one thing to another entirely different, some incident where initially maybe did you have some doubts that, oh, maybe this I've bitten into bigger piece than I could chew, and then how did you handle that? Or some interesting experience that if you remember, that how did you prepare yourself to handle that challenge, how did you go about it? Some anecdote, some incident, Sudhir.
Again, I must say, Amit, you are letting me get into my very passionate area. So I'll answer two ways. One, I joined in '85, and in '89 I quit HCL to join a company, multinational, in a national role. Now I had quit and I was getting into a national role. 25 days, different people in my company, they continued working with me that I should not go. And I was hell bent that I'm going. Last, when I met my country head, Mr. PK Bhalla, I will always take name of people who have positive contribution in my life. PK Bhalla, he was country head. Normally, people try to threaten you that this you will fail.
Correct.
I think very articulatively, by not with any negative connotation, with all positive conversations. He impressed upon me, Sudhir, you are not ready for this role. You have been selected, so I have no doubt that you have any challenge. But I'm telling you, Sudhir, I'm sitting in this role, maybe in a larger, for a larger business. But somewhere he convinced me, without any negative connotation, that I am not yet prepared for this role. I came out of the cabin, Amit, without any negotiation, without of title. Normally, when you stay back, you ask for more salary, some promotion. With on as is basis, I stayed back. I came out of the room and I told my boss, I'm staying back.
Very nice.
So that is one example of leadership. Even a negative messaging. It was not a negative messaging for me, but it perceived to be negative. But he convinced me, Sudhir, you are not prepared for this role. You are doing well, keep doing well. And so that's, I think, very early in my career, my leadership, I started experiencing the leadership trust.
Very nice.
Imagine, Amit, somebody telling you that you are not prepared for this role without doing any negative conversation. The person convinces you. Hats off to PK Bhalla. Then, I think that was one instance which got registered with. After that, whenever a new role came my way, either within the organization or outside the organization, as I said, I have taken very little time because somewhere I have always believed that I can do it. Now, let me share another example. I was in Oracle. I left Oracle, joined SIFI to create the garment business, and I was doing that. Again, I'll take a name. there was a person, Sheshu, in Oracle. He came, he was in Mumbai, so we met in Radisson near airport, and he interviewed me for a role which was more inclined towards sales. And by the time we finished our conversation, I said, Sheshu, not for me. No, he was relieved because we had been colleagues earlier. He was my senior colleague. We were colleagues. It was so possibly he would have thought twice to say no to me for this role. I said, Sheshu, I think I'm not good for this role. And he said, I'm relieved. So that was one instance in my life when I decided after the conversation, I'm not good for this role. And I mean, also I've got 4 copyrights. So one of the copyright is also wang at what I'm not good at.
Oh,
So one of the copyright is wang at what I'm not good at. So that, I think, conviction in me made me think that I'm not good for this role. And I could say that very clearly rather than, if somebody tells you no and then you say, possibly I'm not good, but I could say all by myself. So I think these are the things.
very nice.
That challenge you should always be like CHRO role. I have never done HR role. That
Correct.
resourcing was not HR.
Correct.
But when it happened with Sushil Jain, our groups of Orbit, we know each other for last 15 years. It just happened.
Yes. So we were discussing
Yes.
my CHRO role, and
So when Mr. Sushil Jain happens to speak, he just mentioned to me that as a part of the growth story of Orbit, he's wanting to hire a CHRO. And after a couple of weeks when we met, I said, "Main kya bura hu? How about me?" And it just happened. It just happened. So I think it is your passion.
correct.
It is your passion that make you do things differently, and it is also your own little assessment of your own, what you are not good at. So once PK Bhalla, who so beautifully, without any negative conversation, made me stay. Then with Sheshu, and now with Sushil Jain Saab, I came into CHRO.
Very nice. So I'll come back to this, Sushil. But see, one question is that so is there any? There is no decision. There is no planning as such. It's just the way it happens. You just decide on the go, and then you decide fast based on your gut. And because of your confidence and self belief in yourself, because you have been performing very well as an individual contributor, you have this belief that you'll be able to handle the situation by God's grace. And this is how you have been doing. Now, another thing, see, we talked about your leadership in HCL trusted you to get into resourcing management as a resource manager. So you must have also impressed them with your work, with your discipline, with your dedication, and that is why they could also trust you. So, what would be your message to young listeners who have just started their career, or who are into junior management role, on how to impress your seniors, how to create that brand image for yourself, so that they give you those opportunities which will help them grow.
I will disappoint you, Amit, here on a lighter note.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Never ever get into that mindset.
Okay.
Never ever get into that mindset. Never. Just be yourself.
Okay.
Be honest to yourself. Trust your leadership. Believe in yourself. Don't be mad about yourself. Because when people start believing, they start also get mad about themselves. I, me, and myself.
Correct.
Always have an attitude to continue to learn.
Very nice.
Keep reminding yourself periodically through various mechanisms that don't start living in comfort zone, because that kills you. When people start thinking that they have to impress upon, now they start throwing their tantrum also sometimes.
Correct.
Don't worry. Your leadership, you should trust your leadership. Leadership is nice, kind, and wise enough to pick their choices. वो, if you allow me to say in Hindi,
Correct.
तो वो कहते हैं ना कि जौहरी जो है वो अपना हीरा ढूंढ ही लेता है,
Correct.
और अगर उस हीरे में थोड़ी बहुत पॉलिशिंग की जरूरत होती है तो उसको वो पॉलिश भी कर देते हैं.
Correct.
प्रॉब्लम ये है अमित, when people start thinking about themselves to be positioned for a role, for growth, most time you will find these kids, these people go on a wrong track of throwing tantrum. Sometimes they even go negative because it's a competitive world. So one way is that you keep growing your own line. Then they also start getting into negative connotations of hampering others.
Correct.
So it's a very, very carefully to be assessed, and just be nice to yourself, be good to yourself, trust your leadership, be honest to your work, to yourself, and keep working. Every such person is rightly, timely observed by leadership. It may take maybe little time here and there for some people, but those who start working on this by design, I think they could be real disruptor.
See, one question comes to my mind, Sudhir. See, when I started my career, so the common knowledge was that you stay in a company for 2.5 years, because first 6 months you just know, you learn how things happen. Next year you learn more and you start experimenting, and in the last 1 year you actually create some success stories, and then you move on to a newer challenge. But now the time frame is getting shortened. Now people, even 6 months sometimes is a long time. So how would you modulate that, your answer that you just gave, in today's time, or is it as relevant today also?
Forever. The only thing is that, so let me link it to another interesting aspect which I believe in and I follow. In good old days, the learning, relearn, unlearn used to be in years, 3 to 5 years.
Correct.
In today's time, it has gone to weeks, months, and maybe 1 or 2 years. That means you have to keep relearn, reskill yourself.
Correct.
So timelines have shortened. So conceptually, it is safe.
I understand.
Also, if you look at in good old days, if leadership used to take 3 to 5 years to measure people, today even leadership takes lesser time to do the same.
I understand.
See, it is if the compression of time is creating pressure on one another, the leadership also is in hurry now.
I understand.
They are well aligned with the current system, ongoing system. They are still not living in yesteryears.
Correct.
So when, as I said, 10%, 20% timing may be here and there. Maybe some may be slow, some may be mid, some may be fast. But today's leadership is equally moving in the same way. And those leadership who are not moving, anyway, those organizations are under challenge.
Correct.
Because even organization and leadership have to keep themselves, aligned.
Correct.
And aligned with the changing trends.
Correct.
They can't be living in yesteryears. And you can see the companies in India, don't go outside. In India, you will find so many companies who did not, those who were the stalwarts, the brands of yesteryears.
Correct.
Today they have vanished.
Very right.
Not because of employees, the leadership were not aligned with the changing times.
Correct. Very right. So see, these are very full of wisdom words, Sudhir. Now, 2 points on which I want the discussion to go towards, and I'll give you the context. See, when I started my career, HR was taken as a support function, and HR was looked at in a, not in a very as respected way as it is now. Now, two things have happened. One, HR is now getting more involved with business, and that is why they have a strategic seat at the table. So one question which I'll come back to is that, did your experience as a developer, as an implementer, as a manager, software manager, as a resource manager, as sales, government business, did it help you become share your responsibilities of CHRO better because you had such varied experience? That is one. Secondly, now with AI, more and more we are hearing that digital transformation is taking place in the organizations, and many organizations are making that CHRO bringing this revolution. So CHRO is also the digital transformation leader. who is bringing that digital transformation in the organization. So, two things which I want to discuss is one, business aspect. How is it related to HR, or how should HR try to, young HR professionals, how should they try to learn more about business? And second is digital transformation. How should they go more about this new transformation which is taking place right now? So we can start with the business part first, and then we'll move on to the digital transformation.
I love it. I love it. How many times you have seen CHROs becoming CEOs?
Two or three people. I know. Lena.
Percentage wise, it is less than 1%.
Yeah, yeah. 0.01%.
Maybe 0.00 something.
Correct.
It is the CFOs, it is the salespeople, other
Operation.
CHR. See, traditionally and with a lot of responsibility, I say that even today, the mindset of HR heads, CHROs, by title, people have become CHROs, but the mindset is still a cost center.
Correct.
CHROs, whether HR, young mid-size HR managers, HR leaders, CHRO, whatever you may say, how many times they have gathered the courage to talk to business by having eye to eye. Normally the mindset is I'm a cost center, and sometimes they are also punching back.
Correct.
And I always tell people, don't be aggressive, be assertive.
Correct.
Assertive is a negative connotation, but by being assertive, you are at least expressing yourself. So traditionally, until now even, I have often seen that HR head, CHRO, HR manager, they still continue to believe we are a cost center. They still find tough to, have eye to eye contact with the business people, because people on the business side are normally aggressive in nature.
Correct.
So, one, it starts shifting gears. They have to shift their gears that now I have to be in the fifth gear to drive at 120 kilometers per hour. But by being assertive, not aggressive. Two, I don't know what is your experience. How many times you have seen HR heads, CHROs, or HR managers having an active role play in the business conversations? Normally, they are restricted to headcount, recruitment, manpower attrition, primarily by appraisal system. So and that is one reason when I came with 4 decades of experience on the business side. Not that if I knew, but if I had the understanding, what does business look from HR?
Correct.
So what is important that, when say, because I have come from the other side of the world, so I know what are the expectations of the other side of the world from the HR. Now, if we are able to put across that, yes, yourself. And another point, one, CHRO people become organized or with the organic growth. They have been HR manager, they became, HR head, blah, blah, blah. Their portfolio included A, B, C, P, Q, R. And now they have become CHR.
Correct.
So if you really look at those people with no reflections, exceptions are always there, but mindset wise, they have grown like this. How many CHROs spend what percentage of their time with their CEOs, CXOs, not CEO alone? Do they spend minimum 30 to 40% time of theirs with company CXOs and the external world? It may be your partners, your ecosystem. Unless you are doing that, you can not become the part of business.
Correct.
Maybe in your JD, maybe in your job role responsibilities, all they may be written. But unless you are spending 30, 40, 50% of your time with business leaders, with the ecosystem of the company, and you are developing yourself in a leadership mindset. So I've got another copyright, which is a manager, always a CEO. And I've concluded that everybody is a CEO but can't become CEO by title. So CEO is a mindset.
Correct.
So CHROs also have to be leaders in their mind. Your mindset has to be leadership mindset. And leadership mindset, the first thing, very principle of leadership is, I'm here to be the part of growth story.
Correct.
If every day you say 5 times that I'm going to be part of growth story, it doesn't matter. It is your actions which should reflect that you are a part of the growth story. There should be acceptance by others in your internal and external ecosystem of you as a leader. That's very important. Not because of your title, not because of your title, because of your conversation, your engagements, what you do, how you do. I think that's very important.
Correct. So yeah, a young HR professional who has come, let's say, done MBA in HR and now has joined an HR job, and he doesn't know too much about business, and he or she already has so much on his or her plate, whatever subdomain that he or she is working in, whether it's talent acquisition or it's talent management or HRBP. So how does that person in HRBP, at least they will get a chance to know about business, but let's say they are in some other division. So how do they get to learn about business? How do
Very
they
simple. Very simple. If you are there to take instructions from hiring managers and start doing look for resumes, shortlist, present them, are they willing to spend 30% of their time with the line managers, with the business managers?
Okay.
When a role is created, do they really spend 20, 30 minutes meaningfully with their hiring manager, what you're looking for, what you're not looking for, even if it is the replacement of resource? Even if it is a replacement of a position, don't assume, because the person who has left was with the company for, let's say, 3 years. In today's time, don't assume that JD of 3 years will be applicable today. If these people start spending 20 to 30 minutes every time with the hiring manager, what are you looking for? What are you not looking for? What are the key factors, essential, must, blah, blah, blah. They don't do that. Two, how much time have they ever gone back to the hiring managers after 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks? Hey, how is this person coming up?
Very nice.
Because it's like, the mantra is followed in the good old days, Honda's ad: fill it, shut it, forget it. Fill the position, shut it, forget it. Have you gone back to the business manager? Whoever, it may be finance department, not necessarily sales. It may be legal department. It may be production. It may be development. Have you gone back to the hiring manager and said, how things coming up? How is this person shaping up? And don't go for feedback. Go for a conversation.
Okay.
And pick up your feedback in your, because if you say, okay, what is the feedback? Feedback is a negative connotation in my life.
Okay.
When somebody says feedback, normally we expect negative conversations. So you don't have to use that word. You have to get into conversation. So at the hiring time, after hiring, beyond that, how much time do they really walk out, for a cup of tea outside office to the chai ka dhaba with the organization people who are hiring managers? Do they do that? They are your internal customers. You have to go. You have to go to your customers.
Correct.
So even when you are a youngster, you are a mid-level. See, if you pick up these traits, I think things become very easy. Because now you're not waiting when something falls.
Correct.
And we may like it or not, and it may go back to your point, which is the resource manager, which you asked me about, how about my case. I'm not talking about my case, but I'm just trying to give a relation. That is where you get also identified by other systems, other functions, other leaders. They start engaging. Sometimes they may even talk about a role change for you.
Correct.
I think possibly that's what happened to me as a resource manager. Not that I never thought I will be a resource manager. Not that management had ever thought that Sudhir Aggarwal, we have to make Sudhir Aggarwal resource manager. But when the time came, can you become natural choice?
Correct.
But that will happen only when you keep throwing yourself out of shell.
Correct.
If you live in shell, then God only help you, or you remain in yesteryears. And these are no mantras. Can you pick up and say, I want to deliver a session on AI? Do you learn that? When a guy, my CEO in Vadwani Foundation, Mr. Prakash Kumar, retired IAS officer. He was 2 years, more, I will not say older, 2 years more aged than me. He used to be the master. Learn at that stage and teach.
Very nice.
So how do you become inspiration? Now, as a CEO, he was never expected to do that. But he wanted to remain hands-on. And when you see your leader being hands-on, I think you get inspired.
Correct.
Because you don't have to compete with your CEO, but you get inspired.
Correct.
I'm saying that's how. HR has to come out of their mindset. That's the reason I said mindset. The biggest challenge with back-end functions, whether it is IT, it's finance, it is accounts, it is legal, it is HR, production, is the mindset. And nobody will come and offer you opportunity on the platter. Okay, IA, come, let's have a cup of tea. No, you have to join groups. You have to pick up somebody. Let's go for a cup of tea. Opposite office, if there is a dhaba chai wala. It's not about spending money. It is about quality time.
Correct.
It's about creating your own opportunity. Nobody will come and offer you opportunities. And I'm sure if you ask 10 people, 6 to 8 out of 10 will certainly join you for a cup of tea, cup of coffee. Even in 44 temperature in Delhi, will stand outside for a cup of tea and have it.
Correct.
But you have to come out. So all the youngsters, keep in mind, don't first thing come out of the mindset, I am HR, I'm back-end function, I'm a cost center. It is not. There is no chest beating required. Just naturally come out of the shell and throw yourself open. People are there to embrace you.
Correct. You also mentioned that when you became a resource manager, that was the first time that you became number savvy. So how important is it for every role, I would say, but also for HR to be number savvy? Some thoughts on that, Sudhir?
Every role today, the only way you can quantify is numbers.
Correct.
Minus number is all English.
Correct.
Because of mindset. And I said, when I became a resource manager, maybe earlier we were doing billing, collection, product booking, but we didn't have that mindset of, like a salesperson. I got into that mindset. And when I did my annual target in 6 months, I was on top of the world. That gave me a boost in my confidence.
Obviously.
It did not made me arrogant. It gave me a confidence boost. And that's it. So numbers today, anybody and everybody in the organization should be a number driven. And in sales, it is the company who decides the numbers.
Correct.
For other functions, you can decide your own numbers. That now I should be exposed, I may define my own numbers as a HR person. What should be my attrition rate? What should be my hiring lead time? What should be my dropout between offer to joining dropout rates? How many times I should? How do I grow my engagement between me and my hiring my organization, between me and my hiring managers? You can define numbers for everything.
Correct.
How do I improve my working? And then the same people will make you hero or heroine, because they will start talking about you. Person is different here. Whenever I normally see this person, having a cup of tea outside with someone. No, it doesn't mean we spend 6 hours over a cup of tea. But even once in 3 days, once in 2 days, 15, 20 minutes over a cup of coffee. What I'm trying to say, you have to define your own numbers.
Correct.
Because traditionally, we are only good at defining numbers for salespeople. But we can define our own numbers. Like if I'm a training and T&D, T&D manager, training and development manager, I should define numbers.
Correct.
how many, and don't focus on input, focus on outcome.
Correct.
That whatever I do as a T&D, what is the outcome I'm creating in the organization among people? Because it is for people.
Correct.
So if I can measure that, I have to say today what happens, we go into input mode. Let's do this, define outcome.
Correct.
How a salesperson is measured, how much, what percentage of your numbers you do, outcome.
Correct.
Likewise, can't I define, like, as a part of my learning and development or training and development, what is the KPIs I want to define for myself for this particular, that I reach the last mile, I should achieve certain percentage of behavioral change among people. Can I make some people as champions? Can I make some people as pseudo leaders, quasi leaders? Define your own numbers, but mindset. The bottom line is mindset. And come out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Start thinking for yourself, at least for yourself.
See, all the workshops that we do, Sudhir, so we use matrix. So one measurement is taken before the intervention, and then next one is taken 3 months later. So every workshop that we do, ROI is calculated using those metrics, and you can use metrics for anything. I fully agree with you. Now, coming back to our discussion, see, we also talked about that right now CHROs are the persons who are also leading the digital transformation, because with AI, everybody has to become AI savvy. If not now, then very soon. So how are HR people best suited to bring in that digital transformation? Because they are the ones who, like you said, they build those relationships with every department. So why they are in the unique position, or how can they be in the unique position to lead this digital transformation? Because see, everything new is fearful. People are afraid of something new also. So how can HR people, they are in this unique, they have this unique opportunity to be the flag bearer?
This is another one which I normally love articulating. See, there are 2 or 3 functions who have the visibility of the entire organization.
Correct.
One is HR, one is IT, and little bit of finance. Little bit. I'm not saying fully. Little bit of finance, but primarily IT and HR have the 360-degree exposure of the company and the people. Now, so long you remain HR, you can only talk of digital transformation within HR.
Correct.
That too, also, if you start thinking and start acting, both start thinking, start acting. But if you notice what we just conversed so far, if HR enhances, broadens their engagement with the business people, and they have that real neck for digital transformation, because one is digital transformation are 2 words, but then digital transformation has much larger behind it.
Correct.
So if we have the understanding and comprehension of digital transformation during our formal, informal conversations, we must bring those interventions. 1. 2. Are CHROs willingly and be accepted as part of business discussions? Because if they are there as a punching bag, or they are only to receive instructions, they will remain there. But if they are able to meaningfully become the part of business conversations, business storyline, business planning, business growth, then they can certainly bring their own interventions without having to care whether you have done it in HR or not. Okay, where and how. And digital transformation doesn't mean disruptive,
Correct.
necessary. Doesn't mean revolutionary. It can be evolutionary. It
Correct.
can be disruptive. It can be disruptive, still revolutionary, not revolutionary. But they should be able to bring those conversations meaningfully to the table. And they should take ownership of few things. You say, fine, this is one thing, I think I will drive it. I will support. Obviously, nothing can be done without the full participation of everyone.
Correct.
But they should also dirty their hands. If you remain preacher, you remain a person who only keep talking.
Correct.
After some time, people will say, keep your gyan to yourself.
Correct.
But if you start taking ownership, start dirtying your hands, start playing active role, you will earn a respect, and second, you will be more acceptable, and third, then because you may also be able to then link the two initiatives which are happening, or one extending one initiative to another initiative, because you have the 360-degree visibility of the organization, which nobody else has.
Correct.
So I think there is no fixed answer, but it is your own intervention, it's your own conviction, it is your dirtying your hands, it is your own belief, and stop believing you are a cost center. That is very important. And I have also played that role of a change agent in when HCL became HCL Hewlett Packard, because my function, PSO, professional services organization, used to be a cost center before that. HP said there is no concept of cost center. We have revenue center or profit center. Now, when you want to become revenue center from cost center, you can't switch off. Today onward, I am not cost center. It doesn't happen that way.
Correct.
You have to push yourself in the system meaningfully. When you drive your agenda without creating disruptions, without creating negative impacts, and still be accepted. It may be easier said than done, but it is not that difficult also. Because you have to have a conviction about what you want to do, what you are doing, and dirty your hand. Be prepared to dirty your hands.
So we have talked about so many pearls of wisdom, Sudhir. Get out of the comfort zone, keep challenging yourself, learn, continuous learning, don't fear change, trust in leadership, be a hands-on manager, have that self-belief, passion, be yourself, and have the right mindset. So, out of all this, one thing which is, I mean, we can talk about. I would like to talk about everything, but uh, keep challenging yourself. Get out of the comfort zone because human beings they are designed to be in the comfort zone. They are designed to be lazy per se. So unless it is food or unless it is livelihood, nobody wants to. Almost 90% of the human beings don't want to work because we are designed that we are wired that. So, how to push ourselves to get out of the comfort zone? So, your whole career journey has been a very inspiring one. You are one big example on how to get out of your comfort zone. But some more words on this.
See, very important. If you are a continuous learner, now learner art could be, I am vertically creating a learning curve. But can I create my little bit horizontal learning?
Okay.
Again, so it's an attitude. So if I can, one is vertical learning curve, nothing wrong. But along with that, like the best way I'll explain, when in the first 5 years, it is your hard skills which matters most. Maybe 80% and 20% your soft skills, or maybe 10%. Mid of your career, maybe they become 60, 40, 40, 60, 50, 50, whatever it is. But as you grow in the ladder, it actually becomes reverse when your hard skills are 20% relevant, but and 80% is your behavioral aspect, soft skills, your leadership traits. I hate the word manager actually in my life. I hate this word because the word itself is saying manage. So somehow I have always hated this word manage. So as you grow in the ladder, your hard skill is 20% relevant today, but your experience, then your the 20% role, your hard skill, the ratio of that is 80-20. That means what you do 20% time, the impact is 80%.
Correct.
Because of your experience. So what happens, people, normally you will see those who keep growing, they don't shift the gear of this 80-20-20-80. They make it maybe 30-70.
I understand.
That 70 is, vertical. But you will see some of the best of the best resources. They are very low, not so good on people's management, organizational behavior. Because, so I think as we grow, we have to keep growing like this.
Correct.
And I'm repeating, the hard skill, which is 20% relevant now, the impact of that is 80%.
Correct.
Because of your past experience, it's like experience. There was a movie of Raj Babbar and Zakir Hussain when the chauffeur is stopped and Raj Babbar hammers and Zakir Hussain asked him how much. He said, those days. He said, 1,000 rupees. 1,000 rupees for. He said, 1 rupee for hammering, 999 for where to hammer.
Correct.
That is that skill that you have acquired. When you apply to the tune of 20%, the impact is 80%.
Very right. Very right, Sudhir. So it has been almost an hour, in fact, an hour since we started talking, but I want to come back to the last point where how we started the discussion was giving something back to the ecosystem. See, why is it important? Because right now, the way I have experienced it so many times in my life, where doing some selfless thing, gave me unexpected benefits maybe years later in whatever situation. So, in today's world, maybe we see that the world is becoming more materialistic because of social media and all. And why is it still important to be selfless about giving back to the ecosystem and how does it help one? So, parting words on that, Sudhir.
Amit, it is our responsibility. It is our commitment. It is our onus. At least, as I said in the beginning, when we are born, we all are born crying.
Right.
Whatever we have achieved, it is the system who has made us.
Correct.
So most of our time, if you look at in our career, we have been on the receiving side.
Correct.
So today, if there is an opportunity or you consciously look for an opportunity, which may be 2% of your time, 1% of your time, 5% of your time. Some people give money, some give their sweat equity. So that 1%, 2%, 5%, if you can give it back, I think it's your responsibility. It's your commitment. It's your endeavor. Because you have got everything from the same society.
Correct.
And whom you are giving today, sensitive. One day those will give back further. So it's a continuous process. And when we do this, we should very importantly remain humble. We should not get into the mindset, nonsensical mindset. Hey, be humble. Feel it is your commitment. Feel it is your responsibility. Feel it is your obligation. And just do that.
So nice of you, Sudhir. So it has been more than an hour since we started talking, and we can continue our discussion, but we have to stay within the time limits, Sudhir. So thank you for sharing these pearls of wisdom. So nice of you. Thank you so much, Sudhir.
And Amit, I must thank you once again, you and Kushalta, to give me this opportunity to engage with you. And again, maybe spread little more among some more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sudhir.